On this episode of the podcast, I'm going to talk about water fountains, Mars, and elevators. And oh my God, I tell you what, something else last week, right, at my job. Oh, there was one day, it was spicy. It was spicy. So what happened was, right, it was about 9 o'clock or so. Anyway, my co-worker came into the studio and they were like, oh, this might happen. And I thought, okay. Anyway, so then things started rolling on at about, it was about 9:30 or so. Various things happened. And yeah, so then that's what happened with that. That's what happened last week at my job. Oof, let me tell you, spice. Anyway, now let me get into the first the first story for you here today. Now, well, I can't remember what it was. I don't know. The other day, me and a friend, right, we were in town. We were in the CBD and we were in the Quadrant Mall. There you go. And anyway, so a friend of mine, he's like, oh, I want a bit of H2O. So we went up to one of the water fountains and he pushed the button for it to, squirt water so we could have a drink. Anyway, what happened was this huge jet of water came out of a fountain straight onto the front of him, straight onto his shirt. So he took a step back, looking stunned, surprised, amazed, quite possibly, at what had just happened. Because usually, those water fountains, right? They're just like a very little sort of up and straight back down. It's very little sort of a spit, dribbly type thing, the water out of them. But this was he just pushed the button and a huge jet of water comes straight towards him and went straight on the front of his shirt, his good old T-shirt, his green T-shirt. So he had a moist shirt. Then for the rest of the time, we were loitering around the CBD. Yeah. And then a little bit later on, it might have been, how long later? 20, half an hour maybe. He was like, oh, geez, I'm cold. Oh, you're cold. Oh, I'm like, well, yeah, you got a wet shirt on. Of course you're going to be cold. But I had to go to the loo, so we did make it to a public convenience where I went to the loo, and he did, I think, attempt to dry himself slightly, but obviously not enough because his shirt was still a bit wet, and so it was making his rig a bit cool. So I haven't seen him since, so I assume he hasn't gotten some sort of illness and died. I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, so here's a tip. If you're going to water fountain, make sure you stand to the side of where the water jet is going to go so it doesn't go all over you. There's a tip for you. It's a life tip. I'm going to Mars, and maybe from Mars to the moon, I think. At least my name anyway, because good old NASA. It finished up a couple of weeks ago. I think at the start of October actually was the deadline. But what you could do is you could hop onto the NASA website and you could submit your name to be put on like a chip or something to go on a little Mars rover that's going to go up to Mars next year. And I think if all goes well, maybe from the Mars then to the moon, if I remember correctly. So I hopped online, put my name in, and had to put in an email address so NASA send me newsletters. Thanks, NASA. Thank you very much. Jeez. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to Mars. My name, at least, is going to space. And something very nice that they did is they emailed me a little boarding pass, which is nice. So I've got like a ticket. They emailed me like a little ticket, boarding pass, tickety thing. It's like, my name, you're departing for Mars on this date, you're going to get a squillion frequent flyer points. That's a bit of fun, isn't it? It's a bit of fun. So I thought, my name, I'm going to space. I'm going to space. I wonder if I'll run into How 9000. And I'll say, how are you going? And he'll say, I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. And I'll go, my name's not Dave. How? It's not Dave, right? You're a stupid computer. Actually, I watched that movie the other day, 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's interesting. It's an interesting film. It looks really good. I think it looks really good. And I thought, this movie would have cost a lot to make, but it didn't. At least, well, I mean, what it would have cost in 68. That's when it was, wasn't it? Yeah. I guess like inflation and whatever, it probably is like $1 squillion today, but I was surprised actually at how little it cost. But yeah, I watched that movie the other day. It's a very interesting movie. It's very interesting. But yeah, I'm going to Mars and quite possibly the moon. So I am literally off this planet. At least my name is. That's, that's it. Now, let me tell you about elevators. I had a little bit of an elevator situation the other day. I went into a department store in the city, in town. I don't know why. Oh, I went in to have a look at some jumpers. I was like, I wouldn't mind getting a couple of new jumpers. Winter's finishing up. Might be able to get a deal on a couple of jumpers. Anyway, I went in to said store, and I made my way then to where the elevators are. And I had a look at the directory and thought, right, I need to go to level 2. Anyway, so there was a lift there, door was open, had the arrow pointing up. I thought, cool, we're in. Good. So I got into the lift, pushed level 2 button, nothing happened. So I thought, okay, So then I pushed the button again, nothing happened. Then I pushed the door close button again. And you guessed it, nothing happened. So I thought, okay, I reckon this lift is broken. Because for people who are listening to the podcast who know my town, know my city, they, I suspect, will have a good idea about the particular store and the lifts that I'm talking about. And they should all agree that the lifts in this store are crap, right? They're not that great. They're just old rundown shit. Anyway, so I got out of the lift, and there was a lady, so on the ground floor right, where they sell the cosmetics. So there was a cosmetics lady just sort of standing there. And I was like, yeah, so this lift, I think it's broken. Anyway, so she got in, pushed a couple of buttons, and she's like, yeah, I'll have to call upstairs so they can, fix it. And this lady was like, she was pretty nonplussed about the lift not working. She was like, yeah, what you going to do? But what am I trying to say? I'm trying to be like a gangster. How about, whatever. She was like, happens all the time. This happens all the time. And she did say that sometimes staff get stuck in the lift, or people get stuck in the lift. I'm like, oh, okay then. That's not great. But yeah, so she's like, right, we'll have to call upstairs. So I could have waited, because there's 2 lifts, so I could have waited for the other one, but I decided then to go on the escalator and escalate up to level 2, look at what I wanted, and then escalate back down. But so the I walked into the store like, oh, great, I want to go to level 2. I'm straight into this lift, straight up, straight there. Got in, nothing happened. Lift was out of action. It was stuck on on the ground level, actually. Yeah, so that was interesting. And then the lady there worked at the store being pretty nonplussed about it. She's like, happens all the time. What you going to do about it? I was like, okay, righto. Anyway, went and had a look at the jumpers, didn't buy one, left the store, and haven't been back since. There you go. That was only a couple of weeks ago, so yeah. Well, that is it for this episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Bit of an ordinary one, I think. Bit lackluster, bit sort of less, I don't know, spicy, could I say. I'm sitting here, I'm actually a bit warm, so I might have to take my socks or something off. I don't know. Anyway, you can tweet me at L_who's talking. You can send us an email on Facebooks. And I don't know, like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, all that jazz. Jeez, it's a short one. I'm saying short at 10 minutes. That's about, as long as they all are, aren't they? But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully next time, I don't know, things might be a bit more interesting. It just seems like an uninteresting and unexciting episode, this one, of the podcast. But, is what it is, I suppose. Yeah.